Steffanie, run into the conversation. I'm multicasting on several platforms, so you might be watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. On whatever platform you're watching, thanks for being here. And if you're new to the conversation, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. Now, we know that Donald Trump has been indicted for a third time in as many months. His latest indictment, he was charged with inciting the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Now, maybe you don't believe that he intentionally instigated, incited, or encouraged his supporters to storm the Capitol, as prosecutors claim in Washington, D.C. And maybe you're willing to give him the benefit of the doubt about the classified documents they say that he refused to return after months of repeated requests, as his second indictment stated in Florida. And maybe you consider it to be no big deal to use campaign funds to pay off a prostitute, as stated in the first indictment in New York City. But one thing that you can't deny, and that's that recorded phone call between Trump and Georgia election officials, where Trump asked them to find enough votes to deem him the winner in Georgia, so Trump could find a reason to illegally stay in the White House. Now, what he did could be considered as election tampering. It could be considered as election fraud. It can be considered as intimidation of elected officials. It can be considered as all the above. So even though I'm not an attorney, at least I know that much. But here's what that means. That means that it's probably just a matter of time before the grand jury in the Atlanta area indicts Trump on at least one of those aforementioned charges, and that will be his fourth indictment. And so it's taken 6 years for Donald Trump's alleged crimes to lead to indictments against him. And it took so long that most people, including Trump himself, probably thought criminal charges would never come to pass. But now that the day has come, why should his indictments have you looking over your shoulder? That's what I want to talk to you about. That's because some of his supporters will argue that there is not enough evidence to even indict him, despite three different legal entities in three different states charging him with multiple crimes, and soon to be a fourth, probably. Now, while I'm sure we can agree that everybody deserves a fair trial, anything other than acquittals of Trump in these charges will give some people a reason to act out, and that's why you and your family should have a family emergency plan. So if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So it's probable that some people are waiting for the chance to create another disruption like the one at the Capitol. And that's why we need to get ready and stay ready for whatever. Create a family plan. Know what you plan to do in case something goes down, whether you're at home or whether you're away from home, and whether you're at school, whether you're at church, whether you're at the grocery store. These days, you have to already be thinking of the exits. I remember, I forgot who told me this, but whenever they would enter a place, maybe it was somebody in the military, I don't know. Whenever they would enter a place, they always had a plan for, okay, let me see where the exits are. Let me see where the entrance is. Let me see where the people mostly are. Never put my back to the door. There are just some things that you have to do, especially in this social climate, social political climate. And one of those things is to have a family plan. Have a lethal plan, have a non-lethal plan, and be willing to engage, especially if you feel like your life is in danger, or you fear for your life, or someone in your family, you fear for their lives. Yeah, that's what you have to do to keep yourself safe and your family safe. So stop thinking that somebody else is going to come and save you. You must be prepared to save yourself. Know the laws of your state concerning your rights to defend yourself, your Second Amendment rights. Is there, what is that called? A doctrine of a homestead, all those different rules and regulations. Wherever you are, make sure that you know those and you have a plan of action. And make sure that you have a nest. And a nest is simply a support system of people that you can rely on in case of an emergency. Now, we're really good at planning for vacations. We plan for barbecues. We plan for all these things. You know who's bringing the potato salad. You know who's bringing the cups. You know who's bringing the alcohol. You got all that down. But then you let things like your family's safety just be a fly by night situation. So a nest is kind of like the barbecue. A nest has people who have, like Liam Neeson said in that movie Taken, they have a certain set of skills that you can rely on, that they're assets and not liabilities if something ever goes down. You want to build that nest. Know who's bringing this. I'm not going to name some things, but you know what I'm talking about. Who's got this? Who we can rely on to have that? Who's going to have that covered? And start getting together and practicing how you want it to unfold, just like they do at school when you have the fire drills and tornado drills and all that. They practice what they want you to do. Just like if you are a flight crew member, you go through scenarios and you have emergency evacuation drills. You want to be able to react when if something goes down. So we, as we move closer to the fourth probable indictment, make sure that your portable generators are charged up, that your batteries, you got candles, you have matches, you have your emergency kit where your I guess it's called an emergency kit. Yeah, the survival kit, all of that stuff is already packed and ready to go. So that in case something goes down when you least expect it, which is when it normally happens, that you will be ready. Because there have been, stories about people being found dead in the mountains, dead in a barrel, dead, just hanging. You don't want to be at the mercy of somebody when you could have been more prepared, and you don't want your family to be at the mercy of somebody when you could have been more prepared. The days of us just hoping that people are going to be more humane and not act out. Those days, unfortunately, I think are gone. You just have to prepare for the worst. You can hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So that's all I have. Just a short 10-minute message to you as we get closer to a fourth indictment. And and it's not just one charge of an indictment. It's multiple charges, 20 over here, 16 over there, 30 over there. So indictments, and then probably charges, and then something is likely to happen as people lash out. So make sure, like my mother says, you keep your head on a swivel and be ready. To find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thanks and have a super day.